alaikum dear students, hope you all are well and find me in good situation. Well, our today's lecture is about branches of stylistics. If you remember, last week we have studied the introductory nature of stylistics and its historical component or development in the field. Today we are moving towards its main contents of study, that how do we define stylistics in terms of its sub-branches. When we look for the nature of stylistics, you must remember that stylistics is the scientific study of the literary and non-literary texts. So itself, the two main branches originates from this one definition. So the main two branches, although there are many more, but the main two branches of today's discussion are literary and non-literary stylistics. It means what will be the subject content of study for literary stylistics and what would be the nature of study when we are dealing with the non-literary texts. So before dealing with the contents of study, let me define that what things may encounter with you in literary stylistics and what kind of texts you will face or you will find to study in non-literary stylistics. Literary stylistics, as the name indicates, would be the study of the literary genres. So it means the literary genres are poetry, novel, drama, short story or essays. And what may include non-literary texts? All the other texts which are written other than the purpose to preserve language in terms of literature would count non-literary text. These are your news, advertisements. In media, we have electronic and print form of advertisements. So all the kinds of text like editorials, advertisements in terms of its all other features, articles, they all would be the form of your non-literary stylistic texts. So if we have two different kinds of texts, definitely their manner of study would be different and the features they carry would be different as well. But definitely if they are different from each other, there must be something common, because in non-literary there is something literary. So let's explore it. The main contents of our today's lecture consists of describing the main branches of stylistics, that is literary and non-literary stylistics, as I have said. So the aspect of study of the literary stylistics is to explore the aesthetic and artistic aspects of the language in literary texts. While for linguistic stylistics, which is your non-literary stylistics, linguistic features and structures of the text are counted. What are two methods of their study? In literary stylistics, we analyze literary devices, for example, metaphors, similes, symbolism that are applied in the text. But what is there for study in the non-literary text on the other hand? It definitely studies the phonological patterns, the semantic, meanings, pragmatic aspects, the syntactic features and foreshort discursive features of the given text. Because in stylistics, we do not study just a single line or a single person conversation. We explore the nature of language, which is a two-way process of communication, or might be it is definitely a form of a discourse. That means two or more than two persons should be involved. So conversations are a form of your oral form of non-literary text. The major goals of your literary stylistics is to understand the theme, tone and author's intent, to understand the main concept of the meaning or the main theme of the given genre. But in linguistic stylistics, we study how language creates meaning. It means what are the implied and which we call as implicit meaning of the given text, as well as the explicit meaning of the text, which is extended form of your literary genre. The text type we have already talked about, that what kind of text we are going to study. In literary texts, we have novels, we have poems, we have dramas or the plays in written or in portrait form. But in literary stylistics, we analyze any text type which is your everyday kind of language or communication. So as I said, our communication or the conversation between two persons at formal or informal level, when you are studying a letter or an application for finding its stylistic features in the form of tone, mod, Tanner, we are applying the Halliday's model on it. So it means the model of study would be according to the nature of language. There are different approaches which will deal these two branches as well. The literary stylistic needs more subjective and interpretative in its nature, while your literary linguistic stylistics is more descriptive in its nature. Well, what is the difference between subjective and its descriptive nature? Subjective needs your all data to be explored in terms of author's intent and your personal, non-personal involvement. But in linguistic study, you will describe each and every feature of the language from, again, phonological to discourse level. We will study the levels of stylistic analysis in our upcoming lecture. Sure, that will describe you that what is descriptive nature. It means describe the all patterns of a language in terms of phonological, morphological, semantic, pragmatic, syntactic or discursive nature. So it means each and every one kind of level will be dealt in terms of its description. We will define the language with respect to the use of words by the author. And while using that word, what is the implied meaning that is given by the writer in his writing. So the emphasis in literary text would be how the style contributes to literary meaning. But in linguistics, the main emphasis is how the language choices affect readers. So here what comes, the first and the last reason of learning stylistics, that what is the reader response for learning or for reading any text. We read any kind of text for any of the three main purposes. One, to get information. Number two, to be persuasive or to persuade ourselves, to be convinced. And number three, for sure, for entertainment. So any of these try one reason that you are studying a text. The second one would be effective for your stylistic analysis. Why? Because being an analyst, being a stylistician, you convince yourself first that what are the main features of study, and then you let your reader to be convinced that what have you explored. So now it is one step beyond the level what the writer has said to you in the given text. Although being a stylistician, you are just exploring and finding the main themes given in the given text. But actually you are providing your personal perspective into the text. So it means it is more objective in its approach. So let's say, for example, how the literary text can be explored. One example I have chosen, just a single line, although it is not, but I have just chosen one line from A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, so that you may remember the whole context in your mind. It was the best of times, it was the worst of time. So what are the stylistic features as per literary stylistics given in the one statement? You may explore the antithesis as the Dickens applies, like best versus worst, to highlight the contradictions of the time period, setting the tone for the novel. So it means this one opening line would develop your interest that what would be the best and what would be the worst. Another one thing is the repetition. Repetition of it was creates a sense of rhythm and emphasizes the dual nature of the era. So again, by using antithesis, two different opposite thoughts, he has created a curiosity among the readers. By using symbolism, the times refer not just to the historical period but also to the conflicting forces within the society. So using two binary oppositions, that does mean the conflicting forces that are provided in the given society, foreshadowing the novel's themes. That there are something that is conflicted or that is embedded as a conflict within the given novel. The effect of the line, yeah, very important. It creates a sense of tension and paradox. We call it a paradox as well, drawing the reader into the complex world of the novel. So it means creating again the interest that the reader should read the whole novel. This analysis shows how literary stylistics examines the artistic use of language to understand the text meaning and its effect. Well, this was just one phase of literary text. You may apply it onto some poetic genre as well. From poetic genre, we explored the text from phonological rhythm, phonological use of foot, meter, to the refrain as well, where the lines are replicating in the given poetic chunk. And we have an example of, for sure, T.S. Eliot in J. Alfred Prufrock's song, that he is just narrating one line again and again to create an effect. So what kind of effect that is? I am leaving it up to you to think about and to explore it by yourself. One more example of our today's discussion is about non-literary text and its analysis according to linguistic or non-literary stylistics. Let's take an example of the slogan given by Nike in their advertisement, "Just do it." As I said, the emphasis is the same, just do it. It carries what? This one sentence means to apply that do something as much as you can do, and do it fast as much as you can. So the imperative mood is given. The short, direct sentence is a command that encourages the reader to take action, creating a sense of urgency and motivation. The lexical choices. Now this is what we are talking about, that moving on from phonological to morphemic, lexical and on. This is the second level we are explaining. The word just downplays potential excuses or obstacles. So it means it's the potential inside the listener or the reader that he or she can do it, while do emphasizes the action and empowerment. So brevity is also there in the given phrase. Remember, the concise slogan makes it memorable and easy to repeat. And this happens with many of the advertisements we watch on our televisions, or we might encounter many times in our daily communications, contributing to its brand recognition. Over here, the main reason is to recognize the brand that emphasizes on you. It's a costly brand and everyone cannot afford it. So they are saying, just do it. Once you do, you will do it again. That's an effect also created by the Nike. Stylistic choices create that is a motivational and empowering message that resonates with their target audience, effectively branding their product. I must say it's an effective use of language in the concise or the most concise manner they can do. These two textual analyses show how stylistics can be applied to non-literary and literary text. For non-literary text, very simple to examine any kind of advertisement that is in front of you in the form of the television screens or you watch it on, as well as the text you read on daily basis as a part of your study. For example, you may do the stylistic analysis of literary text as well to understand how language creates meaning and achieves its specific goals. Stylistics is important and interesting not until you do not pay attention on the words that are spoken in front of you, or you are not paying attention that what has been said and why it has been said to you. So it wants your emphasis to look for the insides and the outside nature of the language use in our daily communications as well as in our literary texts. That was the just short introduction about the two main branches of stylistics. Hope you understand and get the point that what we are going to do in our upcoming lectures. Well, thank you so much for your patience. We'll see you in your next lecture. Stay blessed.